Hi, it's Mara. Welcome to my Utopia. Today is January 16th, 2017. I had VSG surgery on August 15th, 2016 at Central Carolina Surgery in Greensboro, North Carolina. My high weight was 300 pounds, my surgery date weight was 250 pounds, and my weight today is 195 pounds. So yesterday was my 5-month anniversary since my surgery, and things are going well. I have now lost officially 55 pounds since my surgery, and 85 pounds since my pre-surgery weight last year of like July 1st, or June 1st, whatever, somewhere in there. So things continue to go well. I still haven't joined a gym or anything, but I continue to lose weight. I eat high-fat food and continue to lose weight. The only thing that is weird right now is, not really weird, but normal weird, is that of course I'm still losing my hair. And if you look at my profile picture on YouTube, you will see that my hair is a lot thinner than it was when that picture was taken, which was May of last year. I think it might be slowing down, but I hope that every time I get out of the shower and brush my hair, I will hope that no more hair comes out, but it just keeps coming out. It is what it is. There's a lot of little baby hairs. There's like a lot of little 1-inch hairs, and I continue to take extra biotin other than what's in my vitamins so that I could possibly correct that damage. This might be wishful thinking. I don't know. My nails keep breaking, which I know is not supposed to happen if you're taking a lot of biotin. But I've always had nails that break at a certain length. I've never had really thick nails, so I don't know if that's, going to change now. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was I've been reading this really great book. And if you are a bariatric patient already, you've probably given up sugar. Hopefully you have, or at least severely minimized it. But if you're a pre-bariatric surgery, just looking into it, then you might still be eating sugar. This book is called The Case Against Sugar. Sorry, it's all shiny because it's the library copy and has one of those plastic dust covers on it. By Gary Taubes, I think his name is. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, a great book. It really goes into the history of sugar and how sugar became so prevalent in our society, and where sugar is that you don't even know about, like tobacco. Tobacco seems to be like half sugar, so that when you're smoking a cigarette, you're still ingesting a whole bunch of sugar. Anyway, it goes into the history of sugar, the history of nutrition, the history of nutritional science, and all sorts of things. It's a really, really great book. I've been reading it out loud to my husband, actually, because he's also interested in nutritional sciences and stuff, which if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that he's also been losing a lot of weight, and he's on the ketonic diet as well. It makes a really great read, and the history of these things is severely interesting. So if anyone is interested in how sugar became so extremely prevalent in our society, the fact that they use sugar for basically everything. They use sugar to, make gasoline, make tires, I can't remember all the references in here, but really, really interesting. I'd read you some little sections of it, but it's hard to even know what to pull out to say is the most interesting part, because I swear every time I read a page, I'm like, oh, I gotta tell people about that. And so anyway, great book. One of the other things is that I know a lot of people will, when they're first starting out the bariatric surgery or looking into it, that a lot of people online will talk about how their families are not supportive, which is really hard, especially if you're trying to do this and you live with people and they want to continue to eat as they have been eating their whole lives and don't really think about how hard it is for you, even if they are also obese, extremely obese, morbidly obese, or whatever. If they don't want to make the change for themselves, obviously you can't force them to, but it's hard for some people to be around food, because if you've gotten to be obese enough that you're thinking about having weight loss surgery, then obviously you have some level of food addiction, because while there is a huge genetic component of being obese, you also have to eat a lot of food. And, there's some parts of the genes which say, it's really hard for us to know when we're full or to even get full. But there's also the part where, you have whatever reason, you have food triggers, you have emotional triggers that lead you to food, you have physical triggers that lead you to food. It's mostly all psychological. A lot of it is conditioned and a lot of it is societal, obviously, because we are a very food-driven society. Almost every social event that I can think of has some sort of food component around it, from the birth of a baby all the way to someone's death. There's a food component, and every celebration in between. I mean, I know in my family, whenever we get together, food is like one of the main topics that we talk about. Whenever my friends and I get together, food is also talked about a lot. The latest restaurants, what people are eating, what people don't like, the new food that they've had in the grocery store that they like, whatever. I mean, even non-social events, in a sense, like I go to a lot of meetings for like animal rights things and HOA stuff and various things like this, and people always bring food to these things. Because, well, if you're getting a group of people together and you want them to remain interested in something, give them some food and they will remain interested. Okay. So, if you have people that are not supporting you and you have food addiction, this is extremely hard. Here's what I tell people. Here's what I told my mother this. All right. Food addiction is the same as alcohol, cigarettes, recreational drugs, sex, addict, whatever. Any kind of addiction. Except you, humans, do not need cigarettes or alcohol or prescription drugs or sex in order to live. But you need food. Food is so prevalent in our society that you cannot go a day without seeing food. I can't get on social media. I can't get on TV or the radio, or even my Netflix account now has food shows that come up and pop up and advertise for me. I can't read a book without there being food in it. I can't see a movie without there being food in it. I can't talk to anyone, basically, without there being food in it. Radio, everything. So if you're a food addict, you're bombarded with food all the time. If you were an alcoholic, let's assume that your family is going to be supportive of you trying to get clean and you're a recovering alcoholic. They're not going to talk about alcohol when you're around. They're not going to drink alcohol when you're around. They're not going to have an open bar, a bar full of alcohol out when you're there. They're not going to talk about the latest bars that just opened. They're not going to talk about, the latest alcohol trend. They're not going to be talking about all these things. They're not going to be referring to all these things. You're not going to see alcohol ads or hear alcohol ads or anything like that, because we have edited out a lot of that. We've edited out cigarettes. We've edited out alcohol. We've edited out a lot of things that people can be addicted to in our society. Even sex. I mean, you don't see sex talked about as much, at least in America. I mean, I know some other countries are a lot more liberal about sex than we are, but you don't see any of that as much as you see food. So tell your family that, and then say, now replace alcohol in your mind with food, and how would you support me knowing that I'm a food addict instead of an alcoholic? Maybe that will help them realize just how prevalent it is, and the fact that humans need food to survive. I mean, as it is right now, there are not supplements out there that let us survive indefinitely without food. Just find a way to explain it to your friends and family so they understand. Most people really do want to be supportive, I think, but they just have a hard time with it, because it's like if you had a bunch of drinking buddies. Imagine your family were your drinking buddies, and all your time with them had been going to bars or drinking. And then all of a sudden you decide to get sober, and they're still drinking. And they just have a hard time wrapping their minds around the fact that you still want to be friends with them, that you still want to be with them, but you don't want to drink. And you have a problem being around alcohol. The smell of alcohol makes you want an alcoholic drink. The smell of a pizza makes you want pizza. So if you're a food addict, you just have to get them to understand that. And even if you don't think you're a food addict, I mean, I know there's some people out there who say that they get to 300 pounds and they're not food addicts, but, I think that if you really look at the psychology of it, you're going to find that you are, in fact, a food addict. I know I was a food addict. For me, and I've talked about this before, my trigger was pain and sickness and nausea. If I was any of those things, I wanted to eat. Never makes any sense the fact that I would be sick enough to be in the bathroom throwing up for like an hour and then come out and be like, I want a cookie or I want a bowl of ice cream, which I knew was going to make me go throw up again, but that was just my psychological trigger. That was my, from infancy, sort of replacement for nurturing or comfort. Instead of having a physical comfort, I'm sorry that you're sick, let's rub your back, let's hug or whatever. It was, oh, you're sick, let's have something sweet to eat. That'll make you feel better. Okay. Anyway, this is getting long, but I just want to talk about that. You have to really, really think about how you can explain why you want the bariatric surgery or why you want to make changes in your life, even if you don't have the bariatric surgery, to people that you've been around your whole life, or even part of your life that are a part of your life that will be around and will still want to feed into your triggers. You either have to stop having those triggers, which is hard, or you have to talk to those people and get them to stop introducing those triggers to you, or you have to remove those people from your life, which is also hard. So anyway, I hope that everyone's doing great. I decided not to have any pictures this month, but I'll have pictures, my comparison pictures every 2 months and my measurements every 2 months. And I look forward to talking to you next week. I hope everything's great and that you are doing really well. Bye.